I remember that Friday morning like it was yesterday. I was standing in my Portland apartment making my usual cup of coffee when my phone buzzed on the counter. It was a text from Jenna, my girlfriend of 3 years, who was on the second week of her European trip. I expected to see pictures of cobblestone streets, or maybe a museum she had visited. Instead, the message read, "We need to talk about something." My stomach dropped. Something in those 6 words felt wrong. I told myself it was probably nothing. Maybe she just wanted to discuss extending her trip or changing her flight home. But deep down, I knew. I never imagined 7 words could end a 3-year relationship. Before we get into what happened next, I would love to know where you are watching from. Drop your city or country in the comments below. And if you have ever had to make a tough decision about self-respect in a relationship, hit that like button and subscribe, because what I am about to share taught me the hardest lesson about knowing your worth. Let me take you back to where it all started. I met Jenna 3 years before that message at a networking event in Seattle. She was a freelance content creator full of energy and passion for travel and storytelling. I was working in marketing for a tech company, pretty grounded and stable in my routine. We hit it off immediately. There was something about her spontaneity that balanced out my more structured life. We dated for 6 months before she decided to move from Seattle to Portland to be closer to me. That felt like a big deal. It felt like commitment. Our life together was simple but good. I would head to the office every weekday while Jenna worked from our apartment, editing videos and writing blog posts. Sunday nights were for cooking together. We would try new recipes, laugh at our failures, and celebrate our successes with a bottle of wine. Weekends meant hiking in the Columbia River Gorge or catching a movie at the local theater. We talked about the future, buying a house, maybe getting married in a couple of years. Kids were somewhere in the distant future, but we agreed they were part of the plan. I trusted her completely. I thought she felt the same way about me. 2 months before that Friday morning, Jenna got an invitation to join a press trip across Europe. It was a dream opportunity for a content creator. Paris, Barcelona, Rome, Athens, 3 weeks of experiencing new cultures, meeting other creators, and building her portfolio. I was genuinely happy for her. I encouraged her to go. I even helped her pack and drove her to the airport. I kissed her goodbye and told her to have the time of her life. I meant it. The first week went exactly as I expected. Jenna texted me every day. She sent photos of the Eiffel Tower at sunset, videos of street performers in Montmartre, and long voice messages about the food she was trying. We video called every night before I went to bed. She would tell me about her day, the people she was meeting, and how much she missed me. I believed her. Why would I not? The second week was different. Her messages became less frequent. She said the schedule was packed, and she was exhausted by the end of each day. I understood. I did not want to be the needy boyfriend who demanded constant attention while she was living out her dream, so I gave her space. I told myself it was normal. I told myself I was being supportive. Then came that Friday morning. That message. "We need to talk about something." I set my coffee down and typed back immediately. "Is everything okay? Are you safe?" My first thought was that something bad had happened. Maybe she lost her passport or got sick. Her reply came a few minutes later. "Yes, I am safe. But I need to be honest with you about something." My heart started pounding. I sat down on the couch staring at my phone screen. What could she possibly need to be honest about? Then she sent it. "I have been spending a lot of time with someone here. His name is Marco. He is a photographer on this trip." I read it 3 times. 4 times. I could not process what I was seeing. I typed back, my hands shaking. "What do you mean spending time? Like how?" The 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Finally, her response came through. "We have gotten close. I think I am in a situationship with him." A situationship. That word hit me like a punch to the gut. I stood up from the couch, pacing around the living room. "A situationship. While we are together, while you are still my girlfriend." I sent the message and waited. Her response took longer this time. "It is complicated, Cole. I did not plan for this. It just happened." Just happened. As if feelings for another person just materialize out of thin air without any choices being made along the way. What exactly happened, Jenna? I needed to know. I needed to understand how my girlfriend of 3 years could develop a whole separate relationship with someone else and frame it as something that just happened. Her explanation came in pieces. They had not done anything physical, she insisted. But they had a connection. They stayed up late talking. They explored cities together. He understood her in ways that felt different, new, exciting. "I needed to tell you because I believe in honesty," she wrote. Honesty. The word felt like a sick joke. "So you are telling me you are emotionally cheating on me and calling it honesty," I typed back. I could feel the anger rising in my chest, mixing with hurt and disbelief. "It is not cheating, Cole. We have not done anything physical. It is just feelings. Just feelings." As if emotional betrayal somehow counted less than physical betrayal. "Feelings for someone else, while you are in a relationship with me, is cheating, Jenna," I replied. There was a long pause. Then she wrote, "I need time to figure things out. Can we talk when I get back?" I stared at that message. Time to figure things out. Time to decide if she wanted to be with me or with Marco. Time to weigh her options while I sat at home waiting like some kind of backup plan. I did not respond. I could not. I set my phone down and sat in silence. That night, I did not sleep. I just stared at the ceiling, replaying every word. And slowly, something inside me shifted from hurt to clarity. The days that followed were some of the longest of my life. I tried to focus on work, but my mind kept drifting. I would be in the middle of a meeting and suddenly remember a phrase from her messages. "We have gotten close. It is complicated. I need time to figure things out." I checked my phone constantly, but Jenna did not send any follow-up messages. Radio silence. I told myself I should feel relieved, but instead I felt worse. The silence meant she was still over there, probably still spending time with Marco, still trying to decide between us. My best friend Marcus noticed something was off when we met for lunch that Tuesday. "You look like hell, man. What is going on?" I told him everything. The messages, the situationship, the request for time. Marcus did not sugarcoat his response. "Man, she is keeping you as a backup. That is not okay." "You know that, right?" I nodded. But part of me still wanted to believe there was some reasonable explanation. Some way this could all make sense. Then Wednesday happened. I was scrolling through Instagram during my lunch break when I saw it. Jenna had posted a new photo. She was standing on a white stone terrace with the bright blue ocean behind her. Santorini, Greece. The sunset painted everything in shades of orange and pink. And standing next to her, closer than any casual friend would stand, was a man. Tall, dark hair, confident smile. Marco. The caption read, "Grateful for unexpected connections and beautiful sunsets." I felt like someone had stabbed me in the back. The comments were filled with heart emojis and people saying things like, "You two look amazing together," and "What a cute couple." Jenna did not correct anyone. She did not clarify that she had a boyfriend back home. She just let people assume whatever they wanted to assume. I could not take it anymore. I sent her a message. "So you are posting pictures with him now?" 3 hours later, she finally responded, "Cole, please do not make this harder. I told you I need time. Make this harder." As if I was the one making things difficult. As if I was the problem. Time for what I wrote back. "To decide if you want to stay with me or be with him." Her reply was quick this time. "It is not that simple." I almost laughed. "Actually, it is, Jenna. You either want to be with me or you do not." She did not respond after that. I set my phone down and realized something. I was done chasing, done waiting, done being the understanding boyfriend while she explored her options halfway across the world. I needed to take control of the situation. I needed to respect myself enough to make a decision, even if she could not. That Wednesday night, I sat alone in our apartment. Jenna's things were everywhere. Her books on the shelf, her favorite throw blanket on the couch, photos of us on the wall, her clothes in the closet, her shampoo in the shower. It was our space, but it was also my space. I had signed the lease. I paid the rent, and I deserved better than this. I called Marcus. "What are you going to do when she comes back?" he asked. "I do not know, man. Part of me wants to hear her out." There was a pause. "And the other part?" Marcus asked. I sat with that question. The other part knows I deserve someone who does not question if they want to be with me. Marcus let the silence sit for a moment before he said, "There is your answer, bro." Thursday morning, I called in sick to work. I drove to the hardware store and bought 20 cardboard boxes. I came home, set them down in the living room, and took a deep breath. Then I started packing. I began with the closet. Every dress, every pair of jeans, every sweater that belonged to Jenna went into a box. I folded each piece carefully. I was not doing this out of anger. I was doing this out of respect for myself. The blue sweater she wore on our first date, the boots she bought for our first hiking trip, the jacket I gave her for her birthday. Each item brought back a memory, and each memory hurt. But I kept going. Next was the bathroom. Her skincare products. Her makeup. Her hairbrush. I packed it all. Then the kitchen. Her favorite coffee mug with the chipped handle. Her collection of herbal teas. The fancy olive oil she insisted on buying. The living room came next. Her books, her plants, the decorative pillows she had picked out. Every single thing that was hers went into those boxes. The bedroom was the hardest. Our photos together. Gifts I had given her. Jewelry she kept in a small wooden box on the dresser. I packed it all. There were moments when I wanted to stop. Moments when I thought maybe I was overreacting. Maybe I should wait until she got home and have a conversation like adults. But then I would remember the Instagram photo, the word situationship, the fact that she needed time to figure out if she wanted me, and I would keep packing. By Thursday evening, 12 boxes sat neatly stacked by the door. I had labeled each one. Clothes, books, bathroom, kitchen, personal items. Everything was ready. I sat down on the couch and pulled out my phone. I typed one final message to Jenna. When you get home, your things will be ready. You can pick them up anytime. We are done. I hit send. 15 minutes later, my phone rang. Jenna's name flashed on the screen. I let it go to voicemail. She called again. I did not answer. Then came the texts. Cole, please pick up. We need to talk about this. I wrote back one sentence. There is nothing to talk about. You made your choice. Now I am making mine. I turned off notifications and went to bed. Saturday afternoon. That was when Jenna came home. I was sitting on the couch working on my laptop when I heard the knock. I already knew it was her. I opened the door and there she stood, rolling suitcase beside her, eyes red and swollen. Cole, can we please talk? She asked. Her voice was soft, almost pleading. I stepped back and pointed to the stack of boxes by the door. Your stuff is right there. She looked at the boxes, then back at me. Cole, I made a mistake. It was just confusion. Marco means nothing now. Now. That word caught my attention. Now. What changed between 3 days ago and now? I asked. She took a step inside, uninvited. I realized when I got on the plane that you are the one I want. I ended things with Marco. I felt my jaw tighten. You ended things, so there was something to end. Jenna started crying, real tears streaming down her face. It was not physical, Cole. I swear. It was just emotional. I was confused. Please, you have to believe me. I stayed calm, calmer than I thought I could be. Jenna, you told me you were in a situationship with someone else while we were together. You posted pictures with him. You ignored my messages. And now you want me to believe it meant nothing. She wiped her eyes. I was stupid. I was caught up in the excitement of travel and someone new paying attention to me. But you are my home, Cole. You are what I want. Home. The word that used to mean something. If I was your home, you would not have needed to look for excitement somewhere else, I said. She looked down. Everyone makes mistakes, Cole. Have you never been tempted? The question surprised me. Being tempted and acting on it are two different things. And calling another relationship honest is not a mistake. It is a choice. You chose to spend time with him. You chose to develop feelings. You chose to post that picture. Those were not mistakes. Those were decisions. Jenna changed her approach. The tears stopped, and something harder appeared in her eyes. Maybe if you had been more adventurous, I would not have felt so drawn to someone else. Maybe if you had come on trips with me, this would not have happened. I felt anger flash through me, but I kept my voice level. So now this is my fault. Because I did not go on trips with you. She shook her head quickly. I am not saying it is your fault. I am saying maybe we both could have tried harder. I took a breath. I tried, Jenna. I supported your career. I encouraged you to go on that trip even though 3 weeks felt like a long time. I trusted you, and you repaid that by falling for someone else and expecting me to wait while you figured out your feelings. I am not going to apologize for being stable, for being reliable, for being someone who did not need to explore other options to know what I wanted. She stood there not knowing what to say. I could see her cycling through different strategies. The apology had not worked. The blame had not worked. Now she was landing back on desperation. Cole, I spent 3 years building a life with you. I thought we had something real. She looked around the apartment. But the moment you told me about Marco, I realized something I said. What she whispered. I realized that I would never do to you what you did to me. And that is how I know we are not right for each other. Jenna tried one more time. Cole, please. I love you. I know I hurt you, but I am back now. I chose you. I walked to the door and opened it. You did not choose me, Jenna. You chose the safer option. There is a difference. Marco was exciting and new, but he was not offering you stability. So you came back to your backup plan. That is not love. That is convenience. She stood there frozen. I could see the realization settling in that this was really happening. You should go, I said quietly. Take your time with the boxes. If you need help carrying them down, I can do that. She looked at me with disbelief. That is it. 3 years and you are just done. I met her eyes. You were done the moment you developed feelings for someone else. You just did not have the courage to admit it. I am just finishing what you started. The fight left her body. She wiped her face and nodded. Okay, she said softly. Okay. We spent the next 20 minutes in silence carrying boxes down to her car. I helped because that is who I am. Even in the end, I was not going to be cruel. When the last box was loaded, Jenna turned to me one final time. I really am sorry, Cole. I hope someday you can forgive me. I put my hands in my pockets. I do not need to forgive you, Jenna. I just need to move on. And I hope you find whatever it is you are looking for. She got in her car and drove away. I stood there watching her taillights disappear down the street. Then I went back inside, closed the door, and stood in the empty apartment. It was quiet. It felt strange. But underneath all of that, I felt lighter. The next week, Jenna tried to reach out again. I miss you. Can we try again? She texted. I did not respond. She called a few times. I blocked her number. Some mutual friends reached out telling me I was being too harsh. Everyone deserves a second chance, Cole, one of them said. I thought about that. Second chances are for mistakes, I told him, not for choices. She chose to pursue someone else. That was not a mistake. Marcus was the only one who really understood. I am proud of you, man. That took guts, he said over beers one night. I shook my head. It was not about guts. It was about knowing my worth. The first month after Jenna left was harder than I expected. Not because I regretted my decision, but because 3 years of habits do not disappear overnight. I would wake up and reach for my phone to text her good morning, then remember. I would be cooking dinner and instinctively make enough for 2. I would see something funny and want to share it with her. Those moments hurt. But they passed. I threw myself into work. I took on extra projects. I stayed late at the office. My boss noticed and appreciated it. I got a promotion 2 months later. It felt good to have something positive to focus on. But the apartment still felt empty. I would come home, heat up leftovers, and sit on the couch watching television shows I did not really care about. There were nights I sat there replaying conversations in my head, wondering if I should have tried harder, wondering if I gave up too easily. But then I would remember the boxes. I would remember that I had drawn a line and crossing it would have meant disrespecting myself. And I could not do that. Marcus invited me to go hiking 2 months after the breakup. The same trails Jenna and I used to explore together. I almost said no, but something made me say yes. We drove out to the Columbia River Gorge early on a Saturday morning. The air was crisp and clean. We hiked in comfortable silence, the sound of our boots on the trail, the only noise. When we reached the top, I stood at the edge looking out over the river and the forest below. Marcus stood beside me. You doing okay? He asked. I took a deep breath. Yeah, I said. I think I am. And I meant it. Standing there on that mountain, I realized something. I did not need someone else to make me complete. I was whole all along. Jenna had been a part of my life, but she was not my entire life. I had my work. I had my friends. I had myself. And that was enough. 3 months after the breakup, I started going to a boxing gym. A coworker had recommended it as a good way to blow off steam. I was skeptical at first, but after the first session I was hooked. There was something therapeutic about hitting the heavy bag, about pushing my body to its limits, about the physical exhaustion that left no room for overthinking. I met new people there, people who did not know my history with Jenna, people who just knew me as Cole, the guy who showed up 3 times a week and worked hard. One of my coworkers, a woman named Sarah, asked me out for coffee around that time. She was smart, funny, attractive. A year ago, I would have been interested. But I was not ready. I appreciate it, I told her, but I am not ready for anything right now. She smiled and nodded. I respect that. Let me know if you change your mind. I appreciated that she did not push, that she heard my boundary and accepted it. 4 months after the breakup, I decided to redecorate the apartment. I painted the walls a different color. I bought new furniture. I rearranged everything. Each small change made the space feel more like mine and less like ours. I hung different art on the walls. I bought plants and actually managed to keep them alive. I created a space that reflected who I was now, not who I had been when Jenna lived there, and with each change I felt more settled, more at peace, more myself. I learned a lot about myself during those months. I learned that I could be alone without being lonely. I learned that self-respect sometimes means walking away from something you have invested years in. I learned that closure does not always come from a conversation. Sometimes closure comes from actions, from packing boxes, from standing firm in your boundaries, from choosing yourself when someone else could not choose you. I also learned something about love. Real love does not leave you questioning your worth. Real love does not make you feel like an option. Real love does not require someone to take time away from you to figure out if they want you. When someone truly loves you, they do not need time to decide. They just know. Jenna needed time, and that told me everything I needed to know. I do not hate Jenna. I do not even think about her much anymore. I understand now that we were not right for each other. Maybe we never were. Maybe the cracks were always there and I just did not want to see them. Or maybe we were right for each other once, but people change. Either way, it does not matter anymore. What matters is that I made the choice to respect myself, to not settle for being someone's backup plan, to not accept breadcrumbs of commitment when I was offering the whole loaf. 6 months after the breakup, I was sitting in a coffee shop working on my laptop when I heard familiar laughter. I looked up and saw Jenna across the room with a group of friends. She had not noticed me. I watched her for a moment. She looked happy. Different somehow, not the person I had known, and I felt nothing. No anger, no hurt, no longing, just nothing. And that was when I knew I had truly moved on. I packed up my laptop and stood to leave. As I walked toward the door, Jenna turned and saw me. Our eyes met. She looked like she wanted to say something. I gave her a small nod, a polite smile. Then I walked out. As I walked down the Portland streets, leaves falling from the trees and crunching under my feet, I realized something. I was okay. Actually, I was more than okay. I was free. Free from the uncertainty, free from the doubt, free from waiting for someone to decide if I was worth choosing. My life was not perfect, but it was mine, and I did not have to share it with someone who did not treasure it. Looking back now, I do not regret how things ended. I regret that I did not see the signs earlier. But that is part of the learning process. Sometimes, the kindest thing you can do for yourself is to let go of someone who does not know your value. Sometimes the most loving act is self-love. Sometimes walking away is not giving up. It is refusing to settle. The right person will not make you their option while they explore other choices. The right person will not ask for time to figure out if they want you. The right person will not need a trip halfway around the world to realize what they have at home. The right person will simply be sure. And until I find that person, I am learning to be complete on my own first. Because the next time I give my heart to someone, I want to make sure they understand what a gift that is. And I will not settle for less than that. If you are reading this and wondering if you should give someone another chance after they hurt you, remember this. You teach people how to treat you by what you allow. I allowed Jenna to hurt me once, but I did not allow her to do it twice. And that decision saved me from wasting more years on someone who was not sure about me. Because at the end of the day, you deserve someone who is certain, not someone who needs to figure it out. And that certainty, it starts with being certain about yourself first. So let me ask you this. Have you ever had to choose self-respect over a relationship? Have you ever had to walk away from someone you loved because you loved yourself more? Drop your answer in the comments below. I would love to hear your stories. And if this resonated with you, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this with someone who might need to hear it. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it helps you find the courage to choose yourself when the time comes. Take care of yourselves out there. You are worth more than being someone's maybe. Remember that.